Good morning. And good morning, good afternoon, or good night to the rest of people who are going to follow us in this fourth meeting about one welfare with different countries in the world. We are going to start with a guitar player because the Spanish culture is with us. Mariano Mangas is from a very small town close to Burgos. And he has played for a lot of people and also for kings and queens, especially the Saudi Arabia prince. He has 2 musical careers, guitar, classic guitar, flamenco guitar, and instead of continue explaining who is Mariano, let's listen to him to see who he really is. I want to thank him for being here because it is a very it is very early in the morning. And Mariano Mangas, thank you very much for being here.
Bueno, muchas gracias por la presentación. Bienvenidos a todos a Burgos y a estas conferencias. Yo quería decir nada más 4 cositas. Bueno, la primera, que agradecer a
I would like to start by saying thank you to Rebeca for inviting me for the opening. She's also a great guitar player, and she will be the first speaker, but nevertheless, she could have been here with me playing. Because we're talking about welfare, and welfare needs music and culture, I think it's great to open this conference with my music. I've never been told to play the guitar so early, and welfare and waking up early usually don't come together in the same sentence, but nevertheless, I was trying to find a song about animals to adapt it, and I realized that most of the songs that have animals are children's songs. And I found it funny because I thought maybe when we grow old, we stop being so aware of how we share our time and space with these living creatures. So I've adapted several well-known songs, adding something to talk about animals and a bit of flamenco at the end. And I would like to finish by saying what Roberto Carlos mentioned. I would like to be as civilized as animals.
Gracias.
Bueno, maravilloso, de verdad. Hola de nuevo.
Hello again.
En nombre del comité.
On behalf of the local committee and president of the College of Veterinaries of Burgos, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the city of Burgos.
Ahora hace 2 años
2 years ago, I addressed many of you because the third One Welfare Conference was going to take place. That time, the COVID-19 pandemic made it impossible to be here on site, but now it is already a reality. We are in a millennial city with a lot of culture, art, with a very beautiful cathedral, more than 800 years old, and declared by the UNESCO in 1985 as World Heritage, as an emblematic point of the city. Burgos is the cradle of the Spanish language, the language spoken by more than 485 million people. The first words of Spanish, Castilian, were written in the Valpuesta Monastery in Burgos, which is very close to where we are and known also. We also have the Atapuerca sites, which are also very close to the city, with the oldest human remains in Europe. And then we have a Homo species of 1.2 million years ago. And I encourage you to visit everything in the city. I personally have to say that I met Rebeca at the beginning of the creation of the One Welfare Framework. The first presentation delivered by Rebeca took place in the College of Veterinaries in Burgos in 2016. That time we had veterinaries, but not only veterinaries, but also members of the security forces, etc. From that moment on, the Veterinary College decided to support this initiative and collaborate with the organization of the third conference of this One Welfare World. Also here today, the fourth one, which is a key action for the veterinaries of the province and also at national level and also internationally. The scope of One Welfare has expanded since then, and this year the Council of the College of Veterinaries of Spain concluded, after a second Congress of Animal and Medical Welfare in Córdoba, we concluded that the veterinary profession needs to include One Welfare. As we all know, One Welfare describes the interconnections between animal welfare, human welfare, and the environment. And also including a physical and social environment. The Spanish legislation is including more and more many aspects related to animal welfare. And very recently, the official Gazette has published a law on the protection of animal welfare. The result of this law is raising awareness by the Spanish citizens on the protection of animals in general, as sentient beings whose rights have to be protected according to Article 13 of the Functional Treaty of the European Union. The topics that we are going to have in this fourth center are going to be about how to implement welfare in our city and in the country, and that's why today we have gathered experts from the world that are going to debate some of the new ideas in research and proposals with regards to One Welfare. We are going to see the connections between human, animal welfare, and the environment. I just have to remind you that this conference has been supported by the College of Veterinaries. As you know, yesterday we have also received the support of Caja Rural, thanks to which we can see an exhibition with different photographs that are going to be displayed in the room of the foundation until the 22nd of October. The photographs are very artistic and promote preservation and protection of nature and all the beings that live in nature. So I invite you to visit the exhibition too. I want to welcome everybody. I wish that you have a fruitful experience, and I invite you to visit our city because you need to know our people and our food. Thank you very much, everyone. And a big hug for all of you.
Paso la palabra a Rebeca, que explica todo el tema del Congreso.
De acuerdo. Bueno.
Thank you very much for this excellent presentation. It is a luxury to start listening Mariano's guitar. Thank you very much, Mariano. We know that you are not very familiar to be in seminars in the morning. And thank you, Tomas, for welcoming everybody to the city of Burgos. Thank you, Tomas, for the support that we have received from the College of Veterinaries of Burgos. Welcome, all of you who are here. It's just like a dream come true to see a lot of people, both virtually and on site from different countries. I have not counted you, but we are all together to speak about One Welfare in different countries and in different work groups. But we are here gathered together to show our knowledge. I want to thank the sponsors because they have supported us, and without them, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you. Thanks. I want to thank the 4 sponsors and all the collaborators that we have had, and that we all the support that we have received in different ways. The theme of this conference is, please do not choose extension. Don't choose extension, choose One Welfare. As you can see, this is taking place close to the Evolution of Humans Museum, and it is a reflex of this evolution when we reflect about the 3 planetary crises that we are experiencing. If you don't know about them, one is climate change. All of us who are in Burgos, we are experiencing very high temperatures, 30 degrees Celsius in the city of Burgos, which is unbelievable, with floods that are devastating many countries, with conflicts that are destroying huge, vast lands and properties of many people in the world, the loss of biodiversity in the planet at different levels, and the pollution that we are generating because we are evolving or not evolving. We are all gathered together to have an inspiring experience with the work and the research of all of us who are present here, or the participants, and all of you who are contributing daily to investigate, research, and to launch different works and different initiatives that are helping us turning around a little bit this evolution that is leading into an extension. So the idea is to have a positive conference with different topics to see how this One Welfare concept can adapt to different ways or to different parts, areas of our society, fashion, our history, the environment in which we live, and the things that we perceive, the photographs or the visual part of our society. The idea is to adapt ourselves and our lives to include welfare in a more holistic way. I'm not going to, get into much detail because I want to give the floor to all the speakers, and I want you to enjoy the conference, the city, and that you have great moments during these 2 days that we are going to be here. Without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Tomas so that he can introduce Marianele, and then we can start the conference. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rebecca. We are going to start the conference, and I'm going to introduce Nelly, who is from Colombia, and who's going to speak about the first topic of this Congress. You have the floor.
Well, thank you, first of all. Dear Tomas, Dr. Fisac, Rebeca. It was beautiful to listen to your music, Mariano. And I want to thank all the authorities from the city of Burgos. We've been lucky enough to walk around the city. It's so beautiful. And I would also like to thank all of the colleagues, friends that are here, both in person or virtually. I want to give you a warm welcome. I'm really happy. It's an honor to be here and to have the opportunity to talk to you in this One Welfare conference as part of the opening ceremony. When we started to know each other a little bit better, but also to know more about the concept One Welfare, this was something that was quite impressive, because it's true that we've been talking in different areas about this interconnection, but this was not something that we saw as feasible. And throughout the years, the way in which we've seen and how our colleagues have mentioned, this comes from this evolution of the culture itself, the evolution of humans, of people. It's true that all the different disciplines come from that evolution. Everything that we've done, it's the result of human evolution, and this is also part of that evolution, as Rebecca mentioned. And we can see it in these times we live in. Through the evolution of technology, there has been a really fast-paced change and a communication all around the world that has allowed us to reach all the countries, and this now is being implemented and will remain thanks to all the knowledge that we all share, everyone that is in here and everyone that is now connected online. This reality, this interconnection between human, animal, environmental health, and welfare. So we are moving forward towards one welfare. And that's precisely also what I want to do, to advance on my slides, if that's possible. Thank you. So that's the way in which we decided, okay, well, a few years ago, we started with a conference with a set of topics that was the beginning of this global view, this way of integrating all these topics, all these elements. And finally, that's when we started to know more about, thank you, to understand better the One Welfare process. We've all been part of it. But now, in this evolution of the culture, we are in the right moment to empower, to implement the One Welfare. But aside from that, this empowering implementation that will empower everyone from every different culture, because we are very different in many things, but we also share a lot of common aspects. And we want to empower people and particularly something that we've been talking about in the different opportunities we've had to do so in different periods of time, is that we want people to understand, we should all understand how close we are with human and non-human animals and the environment, so that everyone, notwithstanding their age, but particularly taking into consideration the younger generations, the new generations, so that they will fully embody the concept of one welfare, so that we can reach that view, that perspective of having leaders working towards the same objective. So, as I was saying, we have 4 really important topics. Some of us yesterday were able to see some of the music, photos, and cities, because Burgos is fantastic to be talking about this, because fashion, history, photography, the environment, these are all relevant topics. And we've been developing throughout the time, throughout these years, in different special projects that have been very fruitful and that have been developed in different countries in special projects with study groups, and even sometimes in research areas that has given the academic strength to the project. I would like to highlight that from the point of view of education and higher education, we've been working in different universities throughout the world, talking from a science-based point of view about one welfare. And this, it's quite relevant because this connects science and animal welfare, and that connects itself with different topics at the same time, because after all, it all has to do with livelihoods, and therefore are relevant in the production systems and the coexistence between animals, human beings, and the environment. These are aspects that I needed to highlight because these are some of the ideas that we've been reviewing. We've seen how through the agro-food systems, there's a lot of impact on the sustainable solidarity work, take into consideration the strategic improvement of the livelihood in the rural areas by using these different concepts that you can see now on the slide that lead us to greater awareness of what the climate change is pointing at us, everything that is affecting our lives. So we have a great responsibility in our hands to avoid extinction and to develop our country in a sustainable fashion. And from there, we need to have approaches with a social commitment embedded, a commitment between people, communities, the environment, and the animals, all within the one welfare umbrella, understanding that the community, cultural, and even individual factors are there, but that relationship, that connection between the environment, the animal, and the human in this one welfare framework connects with the development of humans and that interconnection that we mentioned at the beginning. And that's precisely why, if we want to avoid the extinction, human extinction, when we work towards that aim, we need to work, at least as a trainer and a teacher at the university, I believe that we have one welfare and one education that has to go with us hand in hand throughout our life, since we're young children till we become adults. And this could be something that we taught in Colombia, in any countries, and in my country, in Colombia, we're talking it with the Ministry of the Environment, how we can have a specific proposal to add these topics in the curricula from a young age so that they will understand what one welfare is. This has been well received by the general population as well as within the public policies so that this could happen, and therefore we will have one education for life. This is a social commitment with animals, the environment, and other people, and with specific projects of one education for one welfare, something that we've been developing and that we want to continue towards the future. Some of the challenges that come to us from the SDS, Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, what we've seen is that surrounding all these different concepts around them, we have these green ideas, green essays, this sustainable animal production, this food security, this one education, this local and global sustainable development, protecting the biodiversity. The final message is, if we want to look towards the future and avoid extinction, that future needs to include a one welfare learning project, as well as the other projects we have been working on to protect and take care of our planet, of people, animals, and the environment through one education to make sure precisely that aim, to achieve equity and to respect the interconnection between human, animals, and the environment. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Marianelli, por...
Thank you, Marianelli, for coming from so far away, for sharing your point of view and highlighting the relevance of higher education. That will be the end of the opening part of the conference. We had 3 great guests here. They've been the beginning of this opening, and we're starting with session number 1, One Welfare and Fashion. Thank you.